Welcome, everybody. Sorry for the delay, technical issues. But if you are a financial advisor and life insurance agent, either or and you are joining us for this 5-part series about how you can supercharge your your digital marketing strategy for 2025 as you prep for the end of the year into 2025. We're teaching the latest strategies for not just social media, but digital marketing, full sales funnel, and all the different types of ways that you can create lead generation through digital marketing. This week is part 2, social media marketing. Stick around for this week's episode of the Digital Advisor Weekly.
Welcome to the Digital Advisor Weekly broadcast. Looking to boost your business with the latest trends, innovative tech, and must-have resources? Join us to discover how to successfully scale your practice and automate the process. Here to guide you is your host, the dynamic leader of Advisor Marketing Hub and managing partner at American Financial, Rob Souza.
That's right, Rob Souza here with the Advisor Marketing Hub, and today we're talking about part 2. Last week, content marketing. This week, social media marketing. And this week's important because so many of us are just posting on a regular basis, maybe getting 1 or 2 likes, a couple comments here and there, but we want to help you figure out how to take that social media marketing campaign and turn it into the very top of your sales funnel, so that it is the first step at driving people down the sales funnel to some sort of educational value add content marketing. We talked about that last week, giving them something valuable that they want to exchange their information from and information for, and then exchange that information, nurture the lead, drive them to a sales presentation, convert them into an appointment. So that's what we're here to talk about. Let's go through the top 10 social media tactics for which will end up being for 2024. All right, so we're gonna jump into our presentation. Step 1, tactic 1, educational content series. Now, this is important because often we'll just post articles and, hey, top tips for how to do this, how to do that. But in reality, what you're trying to do is you're trying to create a social media post that addresses a particular crowd and then also solves a particular problem. So what is it that you're trying to solve, and who are you solving that for? And there are plenty of sample posts that we can go ahead and share that are most converting. I'm going to leave that for our masterclass, so you can figure out how to join the masterclass later, which will be all 5 parts of this series, and we'll go into how to create those specific high converting social media posts. Again, who and what problem do you solve in the first 8 seconds of any social media post, and always make sure that you add value, and then also a call to action. What do you want them to do in response to your social media post? And then, of course, engage. So tactic 2, we're going to go through these quickly because this is supposed to be just kind of an overview. But client testimonials and success stories, it's something that we tend to miss in the mix of social media. And what I want to encourage you is make sure that you have a healthy mix of different types of social media posts. You don't just want to do educational posts every single day. You want to add personal posts. You want to add social, here we're talking about social proof. It's going to be reviews and testimonials and maybe some nonprofit work that you're doing, that your company is working or volunteering their time at a charitable event and taking pictures and sharing that. Something your family may be doing, wrapping gifts for Christmas for a particular social cause. You want to share that. That's the social human interaction. People believe people, and they just don't always want to be educated and sold with one piece of information after another. We're inundated with information and education. So you want to be inspirational and aspirational. So make sure that you are posting human stories, stories of other people about you and your company, and stories that also involve others and the community, to show that you're not a one-way marketer, that you also care about giving back to LinkedIn, giving back to your audience, and making sure that you are participating in engaging with them on your social media platforms. All right, so heading on to tactic 3, live Q&A sessions are a fantastic way to get engagement, and that's the key to social media engagement. If you're not getting 5, 6 comments and dozen or more likes, then I encourage you've got to figure out a way to create engagement. Ask a question, ask people to share their story. And here, even on this live event, why do we go live instead of just posting a video, which would be much easier? Because I want to invite the audience to asking questions. Normally at the beginning of each episode, I ask you to go ahead and post what American city are you working from, or if you're a VA around the world, what city is the advisor, financial advisor, or life insurance agent, what city are they from, so we can relate to these social media marketing strategies being applied across the United States, and from which cities. And so I can quickly click over to comments. I can see Sheila's saying we're giving questions, comments, and now they're posting kind of where they're from: Florida, California, Texas, Ohio, Chicago, San Francisco. Thanks, Kurt, for joining us. And Rob, love to see my foster. Yes, Kurt shares pictures about the dogs that he fosters. That's social, that's human, that's relatable. That's an example of what we were talking about, humanizing your social media. Tustin, California, very good. Q&As are so good, Melanie. Q&As are really interesting. It's a great way to engage and be able to get a question answered specifically. Judy, I'm curious, what strategies do you find most effective in fostering engagement with teams? Very good point. It'd be great to hear thoughts and practical approaches that have been worked on in your experience. And fantastic question. And I think that's a great idea. Instead of one person in your company always being the presenter and the expert, I would encourage you to invite team members into your social media. I have my VAs create videos, and we put them on YouTube about the perspective of being a virtual assistant for the financial industry, and what is that like, and from their perspective, and what are some of their thoughts and their ideas. Super collaborative, and it highlights other people rather than just always the face of the company. So great question. Idaho, Utah, Coeur d'Alene, good, Washington, Spokane, Washington. All right, so yeah, checking in with everybody. Again, that's about the live Q&As and engaging with your audience. One last question, and then we're going to jump on. What are the key elements to include in a live Q&A session, maximize its impact and engagement? Very good. In a live Q&A session, what I would encourage you to do is to make sure in your show notes that you put the specific topics ahead of time, so that people have a chance to read those topics and think about them. What are their most important questions? Also, you can put in your show notes or your description of a live show or live Q&A. Make sure that you're telling them to prep their questions ahead of time so that it's easier for them to go ahead and post those. Yeah, see, this is great engagement. Kurt, oftentimes a huge part of choosing to work with an advisor is if you are likable. Who are you? what are you passionate about? And are you a good person? Very good. That's great, Kurt. And as we're talking about engagement with inviting other people into your content and your social media and your videos, is that it humanizes you. People get to see you relate with other people. How do you relate? Your sense of humor, your background story. Kurt shared with me about foster dogs. Why? Because I have 3 dogs. Didn't mean to end up having 3 dogs, but at this house, we have 3 dogs, 2 horses, 2 birds, 2 rabbits, and I'm sure I'm missing other pets that we have. And I live in Southern California. I don't live on a farm. So, although sometimes it feels like a farm, but it keeps me grounded and relatable. And that's why we're talking about inviting people into the conversation. So we'll go ahead. We'll move on for sake of time. Tactic 4, behind the scenes content. This is fantastic because everybody likes to see behind the scenes. What do I mean by that? You always want to present your office and with, it's clean and oak furniture, oak, maybe like redwood furniture or high-end furniture or modern glass conference tables, awards on the wall. But the reality is, it actually isn't authentic because people realize that that's not the way our offices normally look. You go over to somebody's house and we feel like, oh, we got to clean before they come over. We want to make a good impression. But the reality is, when people walk in and see that it's not perfectly clean, they realize, oh, good. I'm not the only one. They're just like me. They don't keep a perfect house all the time, or they don't keep a perfect office all the time. And if all the desks and tables are clean, then it's like, where is all the work that they do on a regular basis? Because I have files on my desks and pads of paper and notebooks all over the place. So be authentic, invite people behind the scenes, let them know that you're also not perfect, be vulnerable, and be willing to laugh at yourself. If you can't laugh at yourself, if you don't have a sense of humor, then it's going to make it hard for people to want to relate with you. They want to know that you're just like them. All right, so behind the scenes content. My favorite one, I wish I would have had the time to show the picture. It was during the pandemic, and we had laptops in the office before we had like 5-screen setups with digital cameras. I walked into one of our advisors' office, and all he had was a Surface Pro laptop, nothing else. So he literally took he grabbed about 15 file folders. This is back in the day, like when we actually printed everything, not the digital versions, the actual paper, and packed them into files. He had like 15 client folders stacked on his desk so he could get his Surface Pro laptop up to eye level so that the camera could see him and not the ceiling and up his nose. It was the funniest looking behind the scenes picture. I'm even going to share it in the comment sections after this live is over because that's how entertaining this photo really was. And I went around the office grabbing people to sneak into his office and look around the corner at his live meeting with his Surface Pro on a stack. So yes, be authentic, show behind the scenes. Oh, I just skipped tactic 5, infographics and visual content. Now, this I have to attribute to my virtual assistants and software. You combine those two things and you can get about just anything accomplished. But I can go into ChatGPT, the premium version, and I can ask for an infographic by simply describing what it is that I'm trying to explain, and it will actually create the graphic for you. You also can do this in Canva with AI, but it is super helpful for people to better conceptualize the things that you're teaching. And so here, this is our sales funnel that we've built for financial advisors. And if all of these pieces are put together properly, which is what we're teaching in this 5-part series, you will have social media at the top, drive them to lead capture, and then nurture that lead into a sales presentation, into an appointment. That's the visual. I know it's hard to see on the screen, but that's the graphic we're trying to show you, or the visual we're trying to show you based on the concepts that we're trying to teach. All right, just checking questions. Welcome, Andrew from Orange, California. How do you handle, okay, so how do you handle sensitive information when creating behind the scenes content? Is blurry okay? This is a great question, Andrew. And yes, when you're doing behind the scenes content, blurry, messy, making mistakes, blooper reels from when you're trying to actually go live are all great stuff. Behind the scenes, I want you to be willing to show your imperfections. Highlight, create humor about the imperfections. Don't try and always be polished. That's a great point. Great question. Okay. And moving on to tactic 6, client-centric polls and surveys. So I see this missed quite often. Even when you're promoting an event, I talked about the Q&A just a moment ago. Client-centric polls and surveys, and let's say you're promoting a live event. Why not, because you're going to do a Q&A and then repost the Q&A as a social post later, why not send out a client-centric poll or survey about what information or questions would they want to ask if we were presenting a topic, and when they answer the poll or the question in the social media post, it's prepping you for what is the content that is most in demand, and also highlights the questions you're trying to answer during your either your social media content, the video that you're creating, or the live that you may be hosting. Sending out that poll or a survey can help you actually promote an event and enhance your engagement. So this is a great tactic for promoting weekly events or videos. All right, tactic 7, collaborate with influencers. Now, we've done this. I used to do this almost 4 hours a day during the pandemic when I had nothing else to do. I had a laptop in my lap. Even in the moments of like watching television or a movie with my family, I'd still be on LinkedIn trying to meet people, nurture relationships, take interest in others. Because people don't want a one-way poster. Learn this, top this, and you're going to get this. They also want to know that you care about what they want on social media. Maybe they're trying to promote their upcoming event. Maybe they're trying to congratulate their latest hire or their latest accomplishment as a company. Maybe they got inducted to the top 500 companies in your county for a certain subject. Make sure that you're highlighting other people's interests. Comment on their posts, share their post, share information from the industry. Make sure that you demonstrate that you care as much about what other people are sharing as you do about what you're sharing. You want people to take interest in you, then take interest in others. Lead by example. And this goes back to Kurt's comment earlier. People want to like, know, and trust you. And they're not going to like someone who's take. It's about me. It's about me. I want this. Do this. And you're always selling. People are going to feel like it's disingenuous. They just want to sell me a product or service. And what you're really selling is you. You are your brand. And that's why I say no matter how you feel about getting on video, it's the most powerful medium because people get to look in your eyes and get to know you, and the expression on your face when you say certain things. They're asking themselves, do I trust this person? And the only way to really be able to tell that is by looking in someone's eyes when they say something to you. So video is super powerful, but collaborate with your influencers. We use a VA and AI to actually be able to go on my LinkedIn. I have top 10 influencers that have audiences similar to mine. And I make sure that I like and comment on all 10 influencers that I have chosen, with a combined audience of over 200,000 followers. And I make sure that I like, comment, and share every single day. Now, I don't actually do it. Now that we're out of the pandemic, I am out and not having the time to do that. And so I've hired a personal PR assistant, a virtual assistant that goes in there, uses AI to replicate my personality and the things that I normally would say and how I would say them. And they are commenting on my behalf, liking, sharing, reposting. And that has grown strong relationships with my influencers or centers of influence. They answer my DMs. They have offered me to come on their shows, be a guest host. They've offered to be interviewed so we can share it on both platforms. Why? Because they've seen a pattern of me taking interest in them and their content too. And the takeaway, don't be a one-way poster. Make sure comment or LinkedIn on any, I focus on LinkedIn, but any social platform. All right, checking comments here. Video, yeah, so Kurt, I know I keep hitting Kurt here. Kurt hasn't been on in a while, and I'm always interested in seeing what he has to say. He's extremely successful. Video has been powerful for me. It allows me to demonstrate my expertise in a fun, educational way, and also shows my personality. Absolutely. And that's because Kurt was a broadcaster in his early years before he became a financial advisor. So he does have a bit of an advantage. But thanks for joining us today, Kurt. Melanie, yes, absolutely. Podcasts also can be a great way to collaborate with influencers, because podcasts are interviews. I mean, that's the whole format of a podcast, is to invite somebody on and have a conversation. So if we talk about Q&A, taking interest in others, podcasts are amazing. And you can video the podcast, and then you can post it as a video as well. So you can use both mediums, but podcasts have a farther reach because people who are on the go, they may be working outside, they may be in the car driving, and don't have the ability to watch a video, but they do have the ability to listen. And podcasts are a great medium for that. And if you can combine both, where you do a podcast and a video, you get the best of both worlds. All right. So let's continue on. Tactic Gate hashtag strategy. This is pretty easy. Guys, just go to ChatGPT, put in the content or ideas that you're trying to teach, and just ask ChatGPT for the best SEO description, search engine optimized description, and a list of maybe 10 possible hashtags in order of most appropriate to least appropriate. And then you can choose from there and make sure you add those so that your content is searchable and registers in the search engines. Okay. Tactic 9, we're almost done. Engage in relevant groups and communities. This is just like the influencers. And when I say engage, I mean participate. I pick 10 groups and communities that I'm involved with. And again, I have my VA and AI go into those groups and make sure I'm commenting and liking other people's posts, because they want to know that other people are interested in them before really you have a right to ask them to be interested in you. So I have the 10-10-10 rule. I comment 10 times, comment, like, and share 10 times on my influencers, 10 groups that I belong to, and the participants in those groups, and then 10 top clients or prospects that I'm trying to build a relationship with. That's 10, 10, 10. I do it every day. I automate the process. I use AI and a virtual assistant. Best thing I could have ever done for my business, and it doesn't take me time. So you can see here samples on the screen of, this is a post from Derek, and then I liked his post, and then my comment below, this was generated by AI and a virtual assistant so that I did not have to do it. I did take time to set it up though, so it's genuine. It is my personality, my opinions, the way I say things, my popular phrases, things I don't want said. That was all set up in the AI. I trained my VA to represent me. And just like any politician does, they have a PR, manager. I encourage you guys to do the same. All right, tactic 10, here we are, rounding it out. Share industry news and personal insights. So if you're a financial advisor, you're familiar with Broadridge, one of the largest marketing companies in the nation for financial advisors. And here's an event that they had, and kicking off Broadridge, the 360 Advisors Summit. And here we want to celebrate and help them promote the things that are important to them. So this would be a great like, comment, and reshare. And then Broadridge is going, and their audience is going to see you as an advocate and a partner who cares about what they are trying to accomplish as well. Okay, so as we're wrapping up, Anna, you are exactly correct. Engaging in niche groups is very good because you're trying to find groups that have a lot of engagement with your niche audience. If you haven't chosen a niche, I encourage you to do so. You may think my niche is people over 55 who have money. Yeah, but that's millions of people in the United States, and you might want to narrow it down to a starting point, and then you can expand from there. Yesterday, an advisor in Texas said the same thing to me. I said, well, how about we start with, and we went to ChatGPT and asked, what industries and what job titles are most likely to be people who are between 50 and 65 who have assets above 1 million, investable assets above 1 million, and what industries, and can you list the top 10 companies within 100 miles of his location? We got all that information in about 60 seconds, and now we can start there. Happen to be managers and executives and directors of manufacturing industry in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, does that mean that's all that he's going to market to? No, not at all, but that's where he's going to start. And when I ran a lead list of how many people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are in leadership positions in manufacturing in the top biggest companies in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I actually came up with a list of 29,000 people. Most of you, once you get to 200, 250 clients, you as a solo advisor, that's about all you can handle before you're going to need help. You don't think that he can pick up 1% of the available market of leaders in the manufacturing industry within 100 miles of the Dallas-Fort Worth area? Of course he can. So why is he going to be broad and go after everybody when he's already swimming in 250,000 qualified leads that he could reach? So I encourage you to niche down. It's easier to find an audience if you're willing to niche down and start there. And just like a target, when you're shooting at a target, the red bullseye doesn't mean that there's not outer rings. Okay, so once I've exhausted manufacturing, maybe I go into healthcare and start working with healthcare leads. So that's your outer ring, and you can keep going out. And people just want to work with an advisor who's working with real people. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the niche is. They just want to see that you're relatable and you're helpful and effective. All right. Last question. What are some effective ways to present industry news that reflects a unique perspective? That you got to go find it. So I follow the top 10, the top 10 most engaged financial organizations in the United States. So when they post something that has 20, 30 comments on it, that's what I'm going to share. I want to share something that's already viral. I'm a military Army veteran. I always share VA posts about a story of somebody recovering after being wounded in war, and it usually has over 100 comments. And those are posts I want to share because they mean something to me and allows people to get to know me. All right, so that rounds out the top 10. If you found this helpful, valuable, I encourage you to go ahead, like, subscribe, follow, and if you can share, that's great too. But at the end of the day, if you want to make a measurable difference in your social media marketing campaign, let's put in 20 minutes, I can put together, using AI, I can put together an entire social media niche market and unique sales proposition for you. And I can do it in under 15 minutes. If you want that service absolutely free, then go to schedulewithrob.com and just say that you saw this week's episode of the Digital Advisor Weekly, and I will go ahead and provide that comprehensive. It's usually like 30 pages of research that we can help provide you in less than 15 minutes. So thank you guys for joining us. Join us next week, same time, 8:30 a.m. for the Digital Advisor Weekly.